In order for you to become stronger and better, you must surround yourself with those that are stronger and better.
This is a journey.
Let me take you on a journey.
There will still be
The journey. The journey.
New sheriff in town, and his name is
The journey.
Journey.
This thing is bigger than Nino Brown. This is
The journey. The journey.
What is it that moved you?
The journey. The journey. The journey. The journey. The journey.
Welcome back to another edition of The Journey. I'm your host, Larry Robinson. Today, we have a real king of Memphis. You're going to be surprised, not the king, but a king. But nevertheless, listen, we got our quote for the day. And our quote comes from the great Pope Francis. Life is a journey. When we stop, things don't typically go right. And I can tell you, that's the truth. You got to keep trudging through. You got to keep trudging through. You got to keep working, got to keep making it work. So today, as I said, we have a king of Memphis, and I'm going to call him the wing king of Memphis. We have Mr. Brother David Boyd, entrepreneur, father, husband, raised in North Memphis, went to school in South Memphis, but today he's the wing king. What's up, David?
Hey, guy.
How you doing, man?
Happy to be here,
Thanks for coming on the journey.
Thanks for having me here.
So tell us right off the top. This is the Cliff Notes section.
Okay.
Where were your early years spent? We know it was North Memphis, but when did you start doing the matriculation, the back and forth between North and South?
Gotcha.
When you start crossing Memphis's Mason-Dixon line?
I had the pleasure of living in both sides of town, okay?
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I was raised in North Memphis. I attended school in South Memphis.
Okay.
But you know, one of the things I found in common in both of those sides of town, they were both villages.
Really?
No matter who home I was visiting, I was looked after, I was cared for, I was loved, I was supported, and I was held accountable.
Right.
Which meant that...
So that means you took some neighborhood butt whooping.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They were all like an extension of my family.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So, a person outside of your mother and father, outside of the house, that had the biggest impact on your life.
Oh, wow. Right off the top, I would say Reverend Henry Logan Stocks.
Okay.
He was my pastor. Oh, absolutely. Attended St. James Church, 4th Street downtown.
Okay.
Every Sunday, he would line up at the end of service. He would line up all the toddlers all the way to teenagers.
Okay.
He would grab you by your head.
Okay.
He'd look you in your eye, and he'd say, "You are somebody."
All right.
He told us that to the day he passed away.
All right.
You are somebody.
I'm going to ask you later on when did you start believing it.
Hey, I heard it every Sunday of my entire life. I believed him immediately because the sincerity from that guy.
Cool.
Unbelievable.
Decisions you made as a child, or a decision you made as a child, that ended up being a life-altering decision that you didn't know at the time. You just was going about your way.
Short version. On my route, I mentioned I was going to school in South Memphis. I caught a bus every day, city bus.
Okay.
And my route took me past Stax Museum. And I recall Isaac Hayes had this beautiful car, you know, the Superfly.
Is that the green one?
Oh, yeah, the one that's in the museum now.
Emerald green.
And on one occasion I had gone past, and I'm not sure if it was that exact car or another one of his cars, but it was missing. So I recall going back to my mom asking after several days, what happened to the car? That was my highlight of the trip.
Right.
Found out that she said, well, baby, I think he may have lost it. He had gotten into some financial troubles. Oh, wow. I was like, okay, well, Mom, he's rich. How could that happen?
Right.
She said, baby, you got to learn to manage your money.
Oh.
And that lesson has been with me.
Since early on. Okay, cool. How different are you from that guy, that young guy that got that was back there? He used to dream that he was going to be something when he grew up. How different are you from those dreams?
I'm still that kid chasing the dream, guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you dream and then you dream bigger.
Okay.
So it hadn't stopped.
What, you never wanted to be a football player, fireman?
Oh, no.
No, what was your...
Oh, no.
Policeman?
I think the first dream was to be an attorney.
Okay.
You know, that's where it started out the box.
All right, Perry Mason.
Yeah. Didn't quite work out that way.
I hear you.
But most of my dreams was really just to be a business owner. Okay. Not knowing what type of business, but just knowing I wanted to be a business owner.
All right. When did you know you were going to be okay? When did things kind of go like, oh, I'm going to be all right at this. I can do this.
As far as the Debo's piece, I think when Bobby OJ and Bev Johnson, their radio personalities at WDIA,
Right.
they put us on the map.
Oh,
They
really?
legitimized us. Bobby at the time was eating meat. You know, he's a vegetarian now,
Right,
so he doesn't
right.
eat. But they actually visited the stand back in the early days,
Right.
and they really legitimized us in the black community.
Really?
And shortly after that, the Memphis Business Journal
Mm.
actually came out and did an article. Now, back in the 90s, they were not really pushing a lot of minority stories, so I was honored.
Right.
And that storyline helped legitimize us in the white communities or the other communities.
So we play a little game called word association.
Okay?
And I got about 3 or 4 words that I'm going to hit you with. Give me the first thing that kind of comes to your mind. So let me check it out here. All right. Faith. What's the word faith mean to you, David?
Faith is the most important thing that's going. You must trust, you must believe, and you must have faith in yourself and God and others on occasion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next word, focus.
Focus. Wow. That is, again, a very important deal to do. Without the ability to focus, you will become distracted so easily.
Okay.
So being focused is very valuable to any success that you're going to have down the way.
Let's say influence.
Influence. Oh, wow. Makes all the difference in the world.
Okay.
All the difference in the world. As long as they're positive influences.
Okay.
You know, there are some negatives out here too, but if you get the right type of positive influence going, there's no stopping that person.
Who influenced you outside the pastor, outside the parents? Who influenced you
Um,
in business?
I didn't have many business owners in my family.
Okay.
It wasn't until really I got to college
Okay.
and met a classmate
Okay.
who family, and if you met him, you never would have known.
Uh-huh.
But they had the largest funeral home business down in New Orleans. They still do, the Rhodes family.
Wow.
And seeing his humbleness,
Okay.
and then visiting them and seeing the wealth.
Right.
I was like, oh my God, this guy is the epitome of who I would love to be.
Okay.
He's very humbled, and he's doing a lot in the community and making some things work.
All right, real quick. What's your why? What's your why? Why did David Boyd get up every single day and willing to get out here and go through this madness?
Initially, my why, it's always been my family. I mean, you know, I have 3 sons, a wife, but they're grown now.
Okay.
And so my why has shifted.
Oh,
It's
really?
shifted
So
to-
the why changes
Yeah,
sometimes.
the why can change. The why has now shifted to others.
Okay.
If I can make a difference in your life today, I don't care how small, then today was a good day.
Fantastic. Now, this is my last question
Sure.
in this segment. And this is the one that kind of stumps the brother.
Uh-oh.
When did you realize you were a black man?
Oh, now that's crazy. It's probably the first
Hold
time I
on,
looked in
hold
the
on for a
mirror.
second. Hold on, hold
No,
on
I'm
for
going
a
to give you the
second.
answer.
Listen, we're going to be right back with David Boyd's answer on when the Wing King realized he was a brother.
There you go.
So listen, we're going to be right back on the journey. Stay right there. Don't go nowhere, because we got more with Mr. David Boyd right after this.
KUDZUKIAN.
The company is based in Memphis, but it is international.
A new building, an expanded team, new equipment, a new studio, all inside of 7 years.
The resources that we were able to utilize with KUDZUKIAN and their team has been incredible. And our partners at KUDZUKIAN has been a large part of our success.
One, it's black owned, so we get to tell our own stories in our own way. I'm so proud of the founder, Larry Robinson, and his entire family and all of the team here at KUDZUKIAN.
We are so proud of their progress that they've made here in Memphis.
With social media and the technology we have today, the world is listening.
KUDZUKIAN. Check out all your KUDZUKIAN favorites now. Download the KUDZUKIAN app, available on Android and iOS.
Welcome back to the journey. As I said previously, I'm your host, Larry Robinson, and today we got the Wing King, the brother who bought buffalo wings to Memphis, Tennessee. We have Mr. David Boyd. David, when we left, I actually asked you, when did you realize you was a brother? And you said something like, well, when I looked in the mirror. But now I know there's a time when life just kind of slapped you in the face.
Absolutely.
And I want you to share that moment
Absolutely. With us. I could probably relate the first experience of realizing I was black in white America.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
This took place in corporate America.
Right.
Prior to that, I had attended all black educational platforms.
Right.
Elementary, high, all Hamilton.
Right.
I attended Morehouse College.
Right.
And so up until this point, I've been pretty much in a black environment.
Right.
Once I graduated from Morehouse, I received a job offer at Mobil Oil in Houston, Texas.
Okay.
Once I arrived to the headquarters in Texas, we were placed in I guess what they call an intern program.
Right.
There were 6 of us.
Okay.
In the midst of that, I was only black.
Okay.
As a part of the intern program, they took us through maybe about a 6 months rotation where you go through every department.
Right.
At the end of that department, at the end of those 6 months, they would ask which department did you want to go into.
Right.
Everybody respectively chose their own area.
Right.
And when it came to me, I asked to be in the financial analyst division. Well, there were crickets in the room. I mean, literally, it got like, what did he just ask for?
Right.
Let me help you to understand it.
Right.
The financial analyst division it was on the top floor of the headquarters.
Right.
Presidents, all the C-level suite guys and executives and everybody was there.
Right.
Okay. And they had one Chinese on this floor, one Mexican, and there was one black female who happens to be the secretary.
Right.
So David Boyd, this little, 19-year-old kid out of Morehouse College, has asked to be on the top floor of the business.
Right.
Well, one of the things that Morehouse instilled in us, in order for you to become stronger and better, you must surround yourself with those that are stronger and better.
Absolutely.
So what better position could I put David Boyd in than to be at the top floor with the president and all these guys to absorb and learn and make my way?
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, the first oil crunch came in '82.
Right.
And there were massive layoffs in all the industries around there. So we ended up, in fact, I got laid off. So never got a chance to finish that story, but I've continued on other ones. Yeah, but that was my first experience of being in white America, not feeling that I was qualified to be on that top floor because I was black.
Okay. So we're going to rewind it all the way back.
Okay.
We're going to take it all the way back to North Memphis.
Ah.
Tell me about the home life, childhood, mother, father, sister, brothers.
My childhood was absolutely amazing. I mean, I was raised in North Memphis, as I mentioned, Chelsea, Springdale area.
Right.
Actually, my mom, Delta Boule, still lives there.
Right.
I'm the youngest of 3.
Okay.
My older brother is Gregory and Deborah, and then obviously myself. My parents divorced when I was very young.
Okay.
So I was raised by a single mother. My father, Rodale Boyd, was a presence in my life. Although they were divorced, he was a very strong presence in my life. Let me put it to you that way.
It sounds like it's a memory.
Yeah.
In there
Oh,
somewhere,
absolutely.
Or maybe a few.
Well, he's a great man. Rest in peace. He passed back in 2019.
Okay.
But one of the things that my mom did, though, she worked very hard. Okay. Again, being a mother of 3, she gave us all of our needs and some of our wants.
Okay.
But one of the things that she did, I thought it was the best. My mom brought in a young lady by the name of Betty Moore.
Okay.
To assist with us as my mother was working. She worked 2 jobs.
Okay.
And Betty ended up becoming my surrogate mother, confidant, BFF. I mean, it was a great thing there.
So, David, understanding the home life, mom's doing her thing.
Yep.
Give me a fond memory. One of those memories that just stand out above the others.
Oh, wow. I had so many. I'm not kidding. I pretty much had, in my opinion, a perfect childhood. I mean, I was a good kid. I wasn't getting in trouble, so I was rewarded. I was always excited about learning something new. So, and my parents, my mom, she kept us busy.
So the neighborhood never gave you the soft kid, mama's baby type thing, mama's boy?
The neighborhood didn't understand that Dorothy Boyd was bigger than the neighborhood. So it didn't matter what they were talking. This is the one I'm worried about. Matter of fact, you guys should be worried about her as well.
Okay.
So,
okay.
But here's a lesson that I would say. I can recall on occasions when I did have some rough friends. Okay, because I'm raised in North Memphis, Chelsea,
Right.
and Springdale.
Right.
Whenever they decided they were going to do something mischievous, they would shut me down. Dave, it's not you.
Wow.
We hook up a little bit later. So I did have many of those moments.
Were real good. Those
But they
were
were
real
friends.
friends.
They
Real
were.
friends.
They were. You know, and I understood because they understood my mom.
Okay.
And they understood that I possibly had a future. You know, that was
Right.
going to be a little different than theirs. You know, so
what's one of the bad memories that stick up above all others? One of them that you was like,
witnessing shootings and things of that nature.
oh wow, that's
you know,
a real ace.
Yeah. Oh, it was very close. As a matter of fact, one of the guys that owner of the night and day food store across the street had a situation. He was selling hot tamales out of a cart, and the gentleman dropped his hot tamales walking down the street, came back and wanted him to replace it. The guy did not. Next thing you know, we're still standing here. Pop, pop, pop. Wow. Craziest moment ever. But that was the closest and the scariest and the worst moment I've ever gone through as a child. Other than that, life is good.
Years in high school. You know, we went to Hamilton. Hamilton is one of those very storied Memphis high schools.
Absolutely.
Tell me about that period and what was the period like going from there to Morehouse?
Oh, Hamilton was chosen by my dad. I did not mention that Delta Boule is a principal. He's in the school system forever.
Okay.
Actually, most of the side of his family were all educators.
Okay.
So Hamilton was chosen for us at an early age. So I attended Hamilton all the way through. One of the reasons we were there is because of the curriculum that they offered at the time.
Really?
I had all AP classes. Everything was preparing us for the next level.
Okay.
We had really tough teachers.
Okay.
We had a lot of male guys in the school system at the time that enforced discipline.
Okay.
And were mentors.
Okay. Who was your boys back then? Who was your partners? Who was your road dogs?
Oh, they still are today.
Okay.
I still hang out with a bunch of them. You know, Rick Cross, Marty Howard, Travis, Kevin Lomax. I go on and on and on.
Okay.
We all still hang out. I have friends from the second grade that we still, and Marty is one of them, that we still communicate with on a regular.
Wow, okay. Who's the girlfriend? Who's the girlfriend?
Hey, now, hold up now. I'm a married man. You can't be putting all that
Well, that
out
was
there
high
now.
school. High school, man. That lady in high school.
Yeah, I had several. Put it that way.
We're going to leave
it
that
there.
one alone. All right,
Okay.
all right. Matriculation to Morehouse.
Okay.
Why Morehouse?
Morehouse, it kind of came to me. I'm the first in the family to attend Morehouse. My brother has since gone, and all three of my sons have graduated from Morehouse.
Oh, wow.
But while at Hamilton, no disrespect to my guidance counselors, I don't think they gave me the directions that I really needed.
Okay.
I did not do all the school field trips and things of that nature that I probably should have done.
Okay.
I'm the first in my family that ever thought about leaving. My sisters at the time attended Southwest College, now Rhodes.
Okay.
So my brother and sister both attended there.
Okay.
So senior class trip.
Senior class trip?
Oh, wow, man. One of the things, we had a senior class trip, and we were scheduled to go to Atlanta.
Okay.
And we were all excited. First of all, most of us had never traveled.
Right.
So while there, a part of the package was to go through college campuses.
Right.
Well, the first stop we made was Morehouse,
Right.
and it's an older, established school.
Okay.
So it wasn't that impressive, and a bunch of guys walking around. So we're like, okay. And then directly across the street, man, it's called Spelman.
Right.
And I knew at that very moment that I wanted to be a man
saw
of
the
Morehouse.
light.
The
He saw the
light.
light.
I saw the light. I wanted to be a man of Morehouse and graduate to become a Morehouse man.
Oh, wow.
And at that very moment, I actually went back to school.
Okay.
And not knowing, I only applied to Morehouse.
Really?
I had no idea that they could have turned me down.
Really?
No idea.
Wow.
And
So since then, now you got 3 sons that have graduated from Morehouse?
And a brother.
Why? Tell me what makes Morehouse unique and why you wanted your kids to follow in your footsteps.
You asked the question earlier, when did you realize you were black? One of the things that school is great at doing is making you proud of your blackness and your greatness. Okay. You are surrounded by a history of men that have come before us, that have knocked down doors that was just unbelievable. Right. One of the programs that they have, and I never understood it as a freshman, but you had to go through, it's called orientation. Mm-hmm. Every Monday you had to go and sit down. We were having speakers coming through there that I had no idea who they were at the time, but I'm talking some meaningful guys that spent at least 30 minutes to an hour with us every Monday or Tuesday, depending on your course. It was great. Yeah. So the school itself just instilled a lot of growth and development. It makes you proud to be who you are, and it teaches you to pull others up. Right. It's a requirement that you bring somebody along the way with you.
Okay. Now, Morehouse graduated, finished up Mobile Oil, laid off.
Yep.
You came back to Memphis after that?
Came back to Memphis.
What role did Memphis play in your professional development?
Actually, that's pretty much where I was developed because I had just left Morehouse when I got to Mobile Oil. I was only there maybe about 1.5 years, maybe 2.
Okay.
So coming back to Memphis is where I really got into the workforce and my creativity with the entrepreneurial spirit that I was having.
Right.
But the city of Memphis is, when it comes to Debo's, Memphis is Debo's.
Wow.
And Debo's is Memphis.
Okay.
I mean, the love and support that I've gotten throughout this city, unbelievable.
Okay.
I mean, I had a lot of...
First of all, how did you come up with chicken wings? Where did chicken wings come from?
Well, you know where chicken wings came from. It was a staple of the home, but how did I get into it?
And flavored wings and the time when you got into it, it wasn't none of that. You know, wasn't none of that. I mean, you got 1 million competitors now.
Absolutely.
So
let me share. Okay. It goes back to Morehouse. It starts in the city of Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
While they're in school, every Friday, from freshman through senior year, no matter if we went to class or not, we went to our favorite wing place, had beers and laughed and kicked it and just had a great time.
Right.
Well, that tradition continued. After I graduated, got the job in Houston. I still continue to go back for homecomings. As a result of that, I met my wife in Houston, fiance at the time. Okay. And through our travels, going back and forth, we decided, you know, Memphis doesn't have any of these wings. We need to bring those home. They've been around for 30 years. It's not like we're inventing something. They're 30 years before we even got started.
Right.
They're here to stay.
Right.
So that was the beginning of how we began our process.
Okay. Where did the name Debo's come from?
David Boyd.
Oh, so they call you Debo.
Yeah, I was Debo then. Again, a Morehouse story. Our freshman year, we, some friends of ours, maybe my sophomore year, they had this group, they called themselves the Tillies. So everybody was like either Debo Tilly or Poe Tilly or Joe Tilly or whatever else. Okay. And so that's where the Debo came from. That was way before the Fridays Debo and all this other kind of, it didn't exist then. So I was Debo Tilly as a result of David Boyd, Debo Tilly. And today, they say I owe them some credit and money for the trademark on the name, but yeah, some of our best boys down in Atlanta, they call me that.
The popularity of Debo in the movie Friday, did that have any impact on you?
It has a funny impact because we're the exact opposite. He's tall and big and I'm short and you know, a little smaller frame, and so people get a big joke when I come through the door. They say, "That's Debo," because they're looking for this bigger guy, this bigger guy. Yeah.
Right. What's it like being an innovator? During that time, I'm sure flavored wings weren't a big thing. What was it like pushing through to do it anyway? Because I'm sure you have people that said that's not a good idea.
Oh, absolutely. When we initially started the concept, after my wife and I decided, well, we were dating at the time, but once we made a decision that we were going to move forward, we began a two-step process. Okay. Really more than that, but we went back to Atlanta, to one of our favorite places, and asked for an opportunity to bring it to Memphis. Well, I'm still new and learning, didn't realize the franchise concept at the time. And he said, well, I can franchise this to you. And, you know, questions led to what does that mean? And it was explained. And realistically, I couldn't afford it.
Okay.
So the missus and I decided to come back and do our own thing.
Right.
Now we fast forward, we are married at this point.
Right.
So we're hosting weekend functions at our house every Friday or Saturday or both. There were wings being cooked in our home because we were practicing, we were playing with the formula, with the sauce, trying to get it right.
Right.
We did that for a solid year and a half.
Wow.
For a solid year and a half. Until we looked up on one of those Fridays or Saturdays and said, babe, there's a lot of people in this house.
Right.
And there are no wings left.
Right.
So as a result of that, we figured we were ready to dance.
Right.
You know, we were ready to make this move.
When did you decide that, okay, I'm gonna start my own brand? What it was at the point?
Well, it was at the point when the guy gave me a price point I couldn't afford to get his. Now his wings were good.
Okay.
But I just couldn't afford it.
Right.
But again, I believe if you're going to do something, you got to develop yourself. You got to push. You got to grind. You got to learn. Right. And so we took the time to go through recipe books. We were going to various wing places. We was tasting this. We were tasting that. It was a process. It was over a year and a half.
Got it.
So we didn't just jump out here. We put the time in to make sure that product was different and more unique than any other product. And in Memphis, we didn't have anything to compare it to.
Right.
But I'm thinking on a bigger scale. I want to be better than what's in other communities.
What's your biggest success as Debo's?
The biggest success at Debo's is not even my success. I've had at least 5 employees that have gone on to open up their own places.
Really?
Successfully. Open up their own places.
Wow.
And it was just nice for me to have been a part of that journey. And I know they all reach back and say, Mr. Boyd, you know, you were tough on me, but you gave me what I needed. You gave me a college education for free because I'm teaching you labor costs. I'm teaching you food costs. I'm teaching you things that they had no idea that was important to them. They were young.
Right.
And who was this guy telling me about food costs? What? I'm trying to go party. But they heard me.
Right.
So the biggest successes that I've had are these guys that have gone on to do their own thing, coming up from under the umbrella and flying. They're gone. They're at the nest.
If you could talk to your younger self, the guy that was starting the franchise, what would you say to him?
Stay the course.
Stay the course.
Stay the course. He used the term earlier, stay focused. All of that came into play. It was a lot of negatives, obstacles.
Right.
Even from securing a bank loan. I mean, you know, I always share the story that when I presented them the concept, they was like, so you're telling me you're going to pay me back and you're only going to sell just the wing. No legs, no breasts, no thighs. Mr. Boyd, we're going to pass on that. So after several banks, on the last one,
how many banks did you go to?
I would say at least 3 off the top.
You went to 3 banks.
But at the last one, because now I'm becoming frustrated. So I turn around to the banker and I ask a question. I said, listen, I'm thinking about getting this BMW 700 series. Do you guys do any kind of financing for that? The guy was like, oh, absolutely. Come see me in the office tomorrow. I said, so hold on 1 second. I only asked you for $40,000 to start a business. And you told me no. But you would give me $70,000 for a car?
Right.
Something's wrong with this picture.
Right.
I immediately went home.
Okay.
And put my hand in my head because I'm frustrated at this point because I needed the money.
Right.
Look to the right, there's a stack of, junk mail and stuff sitting there, and it dawned on me. There are credit card applications in this stack. I applied for 8 credit cards. I got $5,000 on each one of them. And I went straight to that manufacturer and got that trailer built.
Wow.
Yes. You know, it was one of those moments when, when you think you have something, an obstacle in front of you, it's not. You just got to get around it.
Yeah.
Jump over it. Whatever you got to do not let that get in your way.
Hold on. So we're gonna close it out, but I don't want to lose that good juju right there.
Yeah.
You're gonna be speaking into that camera right there. Talk to young boys, young men, and give them a Boydism that they can hold with them from this moment forward.
Gotcha. Young man of the day, stay true to God, yourself, and others, and you will find your path. Keep your circle small. Do not live above your means, no matter what the outside influences are. And as my grandmother say, stay prayed up.
Well, there you have it. This is the journey with Mr. David Boyd, proprietor, entrepreneur of Debo's Hot Wings. So listen, you know we're going to keep bringing them, so you keep coming. We'll be back with another excellent Memphis icon the next time on The Journey. I'm your host, Larry Robinson. For Mr. David Boyd, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Take care.
To hear more incredible stories like this, be sure to download the KUDZUKIAN app from the App Store or Google Play, or check out the Journey Memphis podcast on all your major podcast providers. Also, check us out on the KUDZUKIAN Network.